Welcome to Ignition Point. I'm Debbie Hart.
Sean Finnegan.
And today we have the Baron Baptiste himself. He is a serial entrepreneur extraordinaire. He launched his own yoga brand, Power Yoga. Baptiste, is it called Institute, basically?
Yeah,
Baptiste Institute has over 200 locations. It's so successful that he has his own yoga equipment. It was doing so well, it launched into a leadership brand, which also produced his opportunity for him to coach NFL football for 5 years, get a syndicated talk show on PBS, multiple New York Times best-selling author. What did I miss? I'm feeling like there's some more things.
That's pretty good. That's pretty
That's
good.
a great list.
It's a good list.
And you forgot that he can stand on his head.
Yeah, we have photos of him
Yeah, we
standing on his
have
head.
video
that.
proof
We
of
do
him
have a
standing
video
right here on
right
his
here.
head.
There's evidence.
Guy's got real
Yeah.
skill.
He can do all the yoga poses and then some. Did you make up any yoga poses?
Oh, I'm sure I have over the
Power.
years.
It's like a power yoga, right?
Yeah, power
What is
yoga.
your hat say that, right? Bodacious Buddha? Is that
Buddha.
a Buddha?
Yeah, it's a friend of mine, David Meltzer. It's his brand.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah,
know him.
yeah.
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 He gave me this hat. So I'm like, cool hat.
It is.
Bodacious.
Cool hat, cool
Buddha,
brand,
yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a big question. Where do I start? Well, first, I want to just appreciate you guys for what you do here, because being an entrepreneur is not all bubblegum and roses,
Nope.
right? As an entrepreneur, you stand in the heat, a lot of heat, setbacks, people betray you, people badmouth you, people sue you. You have all the fails, the failures, and yeah, it's not all bubblegum and roses, but I appreciate what you all do here and provide a forum and just conversation for entrepreneurs where they see they're not alone, and like what's the journey of an entrepreneur really like? Yeah, because I don't think it's for everybody, but for those who stay in it, man, it's preparatory.
Yeah, because that was not an overnight success story for you, right?
Yeah.
And we like to talk about those things because it's not talked about very often. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of stuff you see is like the great successes, that kind of stuff, which I love as well. But there's also those dark days and the dark times, which we like to focus on.
Yeah, because they need to know what's coming and how to get over and around that so that they don't quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me also just quickly say, I was with Baron last week, and he invited me to one of his masterminds. And we went down to Sedona. If you haven't been to Sedona, it's breathtaking. It's literally magic. And so I was able to watch a session that Baron was in front of this packed room of people, deep diving. And there were I could just see everyone had their journals out. They were journaling. They were taking your whole mission there was to get them to go do something after the event, I could tell, because there was real takeaways and breakthroughs in that room.
Yeah, it was awesome to have you. This guy lights up the room too. Brought him up to the front, interviewed him, and he lit up everybody. Was inspired by your entrepreneurial journey and story and what you've accomplished. Yeah.
But so let's do your ignition point then. How did you get started becoming a guy that would lead a yoga empire?
I'll tell you, it actually started in LA in the early 90s. I was going to college for journalism. I was working for different radio networks in LA. LA is kind of the hub. And back then radio, like LA was the place if you were going to work in radio. And that was really my focus and trajectory. So I was doing that, and then I was studying and teaching power yoga in the Hollywood area, and that was taking off for me. I had promotions and opportunities to keep growing in radio and in media, and I hit this trajectory point where I needed to decide which way. They were both blowing up. They were both like lots of opportunities, and I chose the human potential, the power yoga, meditation, personal self development, that route. I chose it and I went all in from there. And it's been quite a journey for sure. But that's really where it started. And looking back, I realized that I think as an entrepreneur, we all have to make a choice because there's so many options. It's actually now, and with social media, it's confusing because there's so many experts and so many people online promoting success and what it look, you have fancy cars and airplanes. And it's like, well, what's even real out there? But I think if you inherently when you have some product or some idea that could contribute to people or make a difference for people and in their lives, I think you really have to, at a certain point, just choose it. Like, I'm all in, both feet in, because it's easy to dabble. There's a lot, easy to dabble and you get pulled off in different, but if you really choose a direction, you're all in. That's really where you're learning. In my experience, that's really where the learning of what it is and what it takes to be an entrepreneur starts, right there.
Every great leader and every entrepreneur I've seen and studied has an incredible desire and drive, and they're very heavy on conviction. Conviction-driven leaders, because like you said, it's easy. You're in this comfort zone. A lot of times you have a job, and now you're going to go step and leap out in faith, and you hope. And so many times you wake up in the morning, you're like, do I go back to that comfort where I had benefits and I had a consistent salary and I had all these things? But you have to have that strong conviction to make it through those times.
Yeah, no, really good. I like calling that being at the edge. And I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to put yourself on the line. You have to put yourself at issue, with your own fears.
Yeah.
And you have to be at the edge, the leading edge for yourself. And if you have some future sense vision of where the marketplace is going, or you see the future opportunities, and you stand in that with an intensity, and you become an evangelist for that, you're all in, and you don't quit.
You don't quit. So you come up against that edge more than once, though, right?
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll give you a more positive one. So if I look, I probably fail, and I'm always failing, but it's like the staying with it where I've kind of had to learn what to do. But so as you mentioned, I was on QVC, the home shopping network, for like 10 years.
That's the one thing I missed. He was also on QVC. He was kind of the guru of the wellness division.
Yeah,
wellness. Right? You sold 100 million on QVC.
Yeah, about that. But the first time I was invited on, I was married. My wife and I at the time had, 2 small kids, young kids. We didn't have a lot of money. Like, really, we're living fork to mouth. We had a home. And I get this invitation to be on QVC to sell I had videos that I self-produced for like 10 grand or something at the time, made 3 videos. And I had this opportunity, but when I found out what was involved, you had to have about $100,000 worth of product in their fulfillment center. And I didn't have that kind of money. All I had was some money in my equity in my house. So I go to my wife and I say, and could barely pay our bills.
Honey.
And I'm like, honey, I could just trust me. Let me try this. This is such an opportunity. So we did it. I put $100,000 worth of product configurations together, got them into the fulfillment house. Then you have 6 minutes on air. It's like 90 million people live. And you
no
win
pressure
or lose.
Or anything.
Well, if you don't sell that product, it gets shipped back to you.
So you get the 100 grand back.
You get in product.
In product.
Yeah, in products.
Right.
And at that time, I didn't.
Another way to sell it.
I didn't have any funnels or ways of like offloading that product. So it was a big risk. Talk about being at the edge and putting myself at issue. And because really, if it failed, I would have just went into bankruptcy. And it was like everything was on the line.
Everything's riding on 6 minutes.
Yeah. So I got to the green room. That's where you go right before you go on air, man. I was drinking coffee. I didn't even drink coffee at the time in my life, but I'm like guzzling coffee. Yeah, exactly. I was like, this is like, it's win or lose, man, big time. I get on, I'm selling. I'm just selling to the camera. You're on with a host, and the host is like asking questions. You're talking to the cameras. I'm kind of selling all the benefits, all the results of the product. And I'm just selling. And about 2 minutes in, the host kept tapping me saying, it's sold out, it's sold out. And I look at the screen and it's blinking because they have the screen, of the studio there live and what the public is seeing. And it's like sold out, sold out. And he kept tapping. He had to tap my shoulder like 5 times. Baron, we're sold out. Because I'm still selling and we're like sold out.
Right.
And it's like, it won't even register in my brain. It literally took a minute for me to like,
you're like, I can't
and he's like,
give up.
yeah, I was like shock and awe. And he's like, no, it's sold out. And the host looks at the camera and goes, people, we're going to get more, we're going to get Baron back on. We're going to get more product in. And it was in 2 minutes, sold all of that product.
$100,000?
Well, that was wholesale. So whatever the retail was
price
for
on
that.
top.
Yeah, probably 250K-ish probably.
Do you have footage of this somewhere?
I do. Yeah.
Show a little clip
Yeah,
of that.
young version of myself. 2 minutes, it was gone. I walk out into the green room, and right away, within a couple of minutes, there were about 5 people in suits that came from upstairs. The executives came down. They all shook my hand. So that was the beginning of a career with QVC, home shopping. For about 10 years, I did that. And then eventually they made an offer to me to become the like mind, body, peak performance kind of specialist on.
So you became the host then?
So I became a host, and then I would endorse like every couple of months, people would fly in from all over the country, lay out all their products on a table, and I would go around and they would pitch me their products to see if I would want to take them on air and sell them for them. So I would do that. And on those kind of platforms, you're only as good as your last airing. So they don't, if you fail, you have 6 minutes. If you fail, you don't sell, you don't come back.
You're done. Yeah. How many millions total?
I want to say up of around 100 million, maybe.
$100 million.
Something like that.
In sales.
Somewhere around that.
From that 6 minutes. So
just on QVC.
Yeah, over 10 years, but yeah.
Tell us, so entrepreneurs have these opportunities like you're presented with, and they have to step up and perform.
Yeah.
In closing, what would you say is the best advice for someone that has an opportunity? What should they do?
Yeah, well, a couple things, like get very good at dealing with failure. So and I'll say it like this: put yourself at the edge. Like really, like if you go to the Grand Canyon and you put your 10 toes at the edge and it's hundreds of feet down, and you lean in, you're alive, you're alert, you're awake. And if you live in that space as an entrepreneur, we're at the edge, there's risk, it's uncomfortable, and then you'll have failures, but learn to convert, conversion. Convert every failure, every experience you have, and including the wins. Learn to convert those into your own development, your own growth, learn from it, shake the dust off, the failures, and just keep moving forward. But at the edge is where you're going to have your successes. It's also where you're going to have bigger failures, but learn from it. Yeah, extract the gold from the failures.
Beautiful.
And then, and just shake the rest off and keep going. Yeah.
So make sure you follow Baron. He gives incredible content. So
he's got your own podcast as well.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Really deep, meaningful content. I love it.
That just gives so much value and content for people.
Disrupting the drift.
Yeah, Disrupt the Drift on YouTube. Yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah, and podcast. Yeah.
Absolute honor to have you on.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me. You guys are awesome.
If any of you watching today have any doubts that your current CPA is not helping you take 100% advantage of the deductions you deserve and helping you stay compliant with the IRS, then don't hesitate to get involved with TaxHive today. You won't be disappointed.